Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Thinking right now about it is finished. You know, uh, the old devil knows he can't change that number, and he can't get to the child of grace, but he can steal your joy in this world by changing the finished work of Jesus Christ into the unfinished work, where in some fashion you need the will of man to bring about the new birth. And I was noticing online the there was one fella just giving down in the country to some other people that were deceived, but he didn't realize he was just as deceived as they were. They were the deceivers and the deceived. I think that's what it was. Oh, these people, you know, I hope I'm not guilty of this. I try to check myself, checks and balances, because really, in a way, you come because us being some measure of sin within all of us, we have to be careful about how, when we're bringing truth, not to be too ugly, because we could be, well, like I say, we're no better than they are. But it is finished, the finished work of Jesus Christ. They want to try to make it unfinished by including the will of man or something to do. They will confuse the matter of the new birth with conversion, saving yourself from this present evil world. I saw a fellow just now that was calling out these other people when he himself, and then next thing you know, he was in the same boat with him, but he didn't even know it because I believe he was just deceived. Now, brothers and sisters, when you confuse the new birth with conversion, uh, was it Peter? When thou art converted, this was a disciple. Was it Peter? Yeah, I think it was Peter. When thou art converted, strengthen the brethren. So here we have a disciple that wasn't at one point was not even converted to the truth. He didn't know all the particulars of the gospel of what was fixing to happen. So, brothers and sisters, there's people out there that are born from above. They have attributes of God. They will be with God in heaven. He will not lose one of all the Father gave him. But and when you hear people talking like they're going to lose somebody, that right there, you know that they're not in possession of the faith that was once delivered to the saints. When you have them talking about I got saved. Now you might be able to use that word "got" when you're talking about saved, because that's something that where you have to be obedient to save. I got saved, but you're not going to get born again. It happens. That's something that just happens. Well, they'll talk about you have to get born again. Uh, how do you get born again? Like I always say, there's no doorknob on your side of the door, brother, when it comes to that. But uh, uh, but after the new birth occurs, that's the cause, and the effect is every obedient act that follows that it comes after the new birth, and they will muddy the water between the two. Most people out there have had the muddy, the water muddied, where and they're not in possession of a proper. They don't know the proper mechanics of the God's faith that was once delivered to the saints. No, the new birth occurs, and then every obedient act that follows is cause and effect. But they will muddy the water between the two. They should not be causing all this alarm. They'll cause alarm. They'll cause fear. They'll cause you to make you, you're serving God, you will be out of fear instead of out of love and wanting to really please Him. What kind of love is that? That's why I say that if you have a wrong view of God, uh, uh, a wrong assumption of God, you're not going to be loving him in the proper way. People say, I love God, but they love the God of their own imagination that bends to the will of man when it comes to the new birth. Nor of the will of man, nor of the will of man, not of yourself. It is a gift of God. They make it of yourself. Out here pontificating this again here as I was had some time on my hands, and I noticed I messed the horizontal and the up on the other one. And there was a thing called let's say back in the 50s, there was a movie on called The Twilight Zone, but there was another one that came on right around over there around by. It was called We Control the Outer Limits. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. It's called the Outer Limits. Well, process you watching the news or something on TV, they're controlling the narrative, brother and sister. All your TV preachers, they're not going to be on there unless they got some kind of will of man mixed in there somewhere with it. It's going to come a whole lot, real close to be sounding like the truth, but it's not the truth that makes a man free. Something that makes a man free is when you don't have any part in it, because we're fallible beings. The spirit is willing, Paul said, but the flesh is weak. I find myself doing the things I don't want to do. Don't you do that? I do every day. But that's why you cannot judge a man's eternal destiny like some seem to do. They'll say, he's on his way to hell. That's a way of, they're judging him. He's on his way to hell. No, he's not. And not if he's been chosen for the foundation of the world. There's all kind of people in the Bible that you would say, well, golly, he's going to hell. Manasseh, wow, all these people in the Old Testament even sacrificed their own children to pagan gods. Or it turned out some of them were one of his. So I'm just saying, we don't know, brothers and sisters. Saul, David, what would he do? He'd be in jail for have a life sentence now, but for sending somebody off to die and then taking his wife. No, brothers and sisters. God is a determiner of every man's destiny, and not the will of man, nor of the will of man. Read over there in John 1st chapter, somewhere around in there, 12th, 13th chapter. Nor of the will of man, not of any relatives you got, not anything you've done, nor of the will of man, but of God. The new birth occurs, and then everything that follows is effect, cause and effect. All the Old Testament saints, they never they never heard the gospel. It was the types and shadows. They're looking forward to it. I did a video on that one time talking about, have all God's children heard and believed the gospel? No, they have not. But they will be in heaven for his name's sake, brothers and sisters, for his name's sake. Because, but people, I never heard that in the Bible. But I tell you what flat earth did for me. Flat earth. When you realize that you've been lied to about the ground beneath your feet, it makes you examine everything that you thought you knew. The fake moon landing. Golly, these people, the politicians getting up in front of me, lying to me with a straight face. Wow, what kind of world am I living in? That's what happened to me. So I started investigating everything else. Every little thing I believed. Turns out we've been lied to about everything. And the good news is that that there's nothing you can do about it, your eternal destiny, which takes a whole big old load off your shoulders or anybody around you. And it puts it on, it puts it it lays it at the feet of God's amazing grace and his rich mercy, which is wonderful, wonderful news in my view, down here in Alabama, who had a lifetime of flim-flam preachers, going through the town, and men that called themselves, some of them probably children of grace. Some of them I always say, I heard an old man say one time, he says, lots of people out there preaching, sometimes God calls a man and he teaches him, he's taught of God, and he's sent. He's called and he's sent. But some of them just up and went. And that's what we see on television every day. If they're not working for the other side, they just up and win because they don't have the basics. Then they'll get on there and they'll correct all these other people who probably are working for, are agents for the devil, that are big name guys, and they themselves will not be in possession of the faith that was once delivered to the saints, which is very, very embarrassing. So I have to watch myself. You know, I don't want to get on here too, but and be guilty of doing the same thing. But anyway, getting ready to go down here in the country, enjoy seeing some of the grandkids I hadn't seen in a while, and just sit back and take it all in. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of God is within you. It's within his people, brothers and sisters. You don't say, there it is over there. See that building over there? No, that's not it either. See this building over here? No, that's not it. See that person just held the door for you when you walked in to the grocery store? If it didn't have an automatic door, they held the door for you. The kingdom of heaven, there it is, in his people, brothers and sisters. Kind people that probably don't even know that they've been told a story about the shape of the earth, but man landed on it. They probably don't even know it. But it ain't what you understand. It's what it's according to his mercy, brothers and sisters. Well, I put my videos up here for the handful full of people that just God might direct our path, cross them, and stumble on to the truth from this old boy down here in Alabama. I used to think, I'm not getting on there. I might say something wrong. I may say something wrong and make them sad, or see, they're on there saying, well, this man's leading people to hell. Well, no, you can't do that. I could say all the wrong things from here for the whole 15 minutes. And it's not going to change that number. It might make them sadder or steal some of their joy like most of these people do that you see on here. But it's not going to affect their eternal destiny, brothers and sisters. But I'll check mine out pretty close, and I'll take them down if I say something wrong that's going to steal some joy. He wants your joy to be full. These things I write, that your joy may be full, brothers and sisters. He wants your joy to be full. And it's not going to be full if you're thinking there's something you can do. I believe in a gospel. I don't believe in a something to do gospel. I don't believe in a something to do gospel. I believe in a something done gospel from the foundation of the earth, a finished work. It's already finished. And things are just acting themselves out now. He's bringing it to fruition, moving ever closer to the very last day, brothers and sisters. Which is wonderful. It might not be in my lifetime, might be 1,000 years. I don't know. I don't get on here and tell anybody. I know one thing. There's going to be a last day. So sooner or later, it's going to be a last day. And that's why I keep putting out these videos. Because maybe there's somebody out there that needs a little cheering up, a little more joy. And he needs to know that he might be amongst his elect. And I always say, if there's anything out here that rings true on my channel, I believe you're a child of grace, brothers and sisters. Peace and love from this old boy down here in Alabama.